It had been 1 week since we buried Papa. The house was still quiet, like even the walls were mourning him. I could still smell his perfume in the corridor, the one that always mixed with the smell of old books in his study. Every time I passed that room, my chest would tighten. My elder brother, Chinedu, came back from Lagos to help us arrange things. He was always serious now, talking about land papers and family meetings. My sister, Adaora, stayed with her little boy, Ebuka. She cried almost every night. As for me, I was just trying to understand how life could continue without Papa's voice calling me Naam. That night, the three of us were in the sitting room. Nepa had taken light, so we used lantern. Adaora was dozing on the couch, Ebuka was asleep on her lap, and Chinedu was reading one of Papa's files. I was pressing my phone when I heard a sound that made my skin rise. Ring, 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 ring. At first, I thought it was the radio or something from outside. But Chinedu raised his head slowly, and Adaora opened her eyes wide. The sound was coming from the small table beside the TV. Papa's phone. The same phone we had switched off since the day he died. Chinedu stood up first. "Who put this phone on?" he asked. Nobody answered. The phone kept ringing. I could see Adaora shaking her head. "Obinna, going off it," she whispered. I swallowed hard and went closer. The screen was glowing. Papa's name showed clearly. Papa calling. My hand started shaking. I looked at Chinedu. "Pick it," he said quietly. I pressed the green button. "Hello?" My voice sounded like it wasn't mine. There was a long silence. Then I heard something, a weak breathing, like someone was struggling to talk. My heart was beating so fast. Then I heard it, a faint whisper, sounding exactly like Papa's voice. "Don't! Let him take it! Check the floor!" Before I could say anything, the line cut. The room went dead silent. Even the night insects outside stopped making noise. Adaora jumped up, shouting, "Jesus, Jesus! It's his ghost! He's not resting!" Chinedu collected the phone from me and checked. The screen was black again. The phone was off. Nobody slept that night. We sat together till morning, waiting to see if it would ring again, but it didn't. When the sun finally came out, we started arguing about what the voice meant. Adaora said it was a warning from the dead. Chinedu said maybe somebody was playing a trick with Papa's number. But deep inside me, I knew that voice. I grew up with it. It was Papa. And whatever he was talking about, check the floor. I felt it was not just ordinary talk. It was something we needed to find, something he left behind. The next morning, the whole house felt strange. Even the air was heavy, like something invisible was watching us. I kept thinking about Papa's voice from the phone. Those words refused to leave my head. Check the floor. Chinedu tried to act normal. He made tea, wore his shirt like he wanted to forget everything. But I noticed he didn't touch Papa's phone again. He just kept it on the table, screen facing down. Adaora, on the other hand, sprinkled holy water everywhere. She even called our pastor on the phone, whispering that Papa's spirit is not at peace. After breakfast, I followed Chinedu to Papa's study. The place still smelled like old files and dust. Papa used to spend hours here, reading and writing things in his small black books. The table was still arranged neatly, just the way he left it before he died. "Obinna," Chinedu said, opening a drawer. "You heard what that voice said yesterday, right?" I nodded. "Let's just check the floor here, before Adaora comes with her holy water again." We moved the table aside and lifted the old rug. The cement floor had lines, but one part looked slightly different, newer than the rest. I bent down and knocked it lightly. It made a hollow sound. "Wait," I said, "there's something under here." Chinedu went to bring a small hammer. When he hit the spot gently, a thin crack appeared. We dug it slowly until a small square tile came loose. Beneath it was a metal box, dusty and wrapped with black nylon. Chinedu's eyes widened. "Obinna, don't tell Adaora yet." We carried the box out and placed it on the table. My hand was shaking again, just like the night before. He used a knife to break the small lock. Inside, we found a flash drive, a small brown envelope, and a blue notebook that had Papa's handwriting all over it. Chinedu opened the envelope first. Inside was a short note. Open quote. "My children, if you are reading this, I am no longer there. What I left here belongs to you. But be careful, others are looking for it too. Do not trust anyone. Papa." Close quote. Adaora entered the room just as Chinedu finished reading. "What are you people hiding?" she asked. We showed her the note. She grabbed it, her mouth open. "Others are looking for it. What is it?" Chinedu plugged the flash drive into his laptop. Now, inside were many scanned documents, land papers, bank statements, and one big document with the heading Transfer of Ownership. The name on it shocked us. The property was in Abuja, and the previous owner was Chief Ogu, Papa's old business partner who disappeared years ago. Adawara looked at us slowly. So Papa was hiding this all along? I didn't answer. I was staring at the phone on the table. Its light blinked once, even though it was off. I didn't tell anyone, but I felt it in my chest. That voice would call again. And next time, maybe it won't just be to warn us. By the next day, the story of Papa's secret box was all we could think about. Chinedu went through the flash drive again and again. He said the papers showed that Papa owned a big estate in Abuja, one that could be worth millions. But what confused us most was how the land used to belong to Chief Ogu, the man who vanished many years ago after a business fight with Papa. Adaora said we should burn everything. She didn't even want to hear the name Ogu. She kept saying, "Let the dead rest. Papa's ghost is already talking to us. Don't make it worse." But Chinedu refused. He wanted to understand why Papa hid it. That afternoon, while we were arguing in the sitting room, we heard someone knocking at the gate. When I opened it, a tall man stood there. He was wearing a black shirt and holding a small nylon bag. His eyes were sharp, and his voice calm when he said, "Good afternoon. I came to greet the family of late Chief Okafor. I am his friend's nephew." We invited him in. Adawara served him water, and he sat like someone who had come for serious business. "I heard about your father's death," he began slowly. "My uncle, Chief Ogu, used to work with him years ago before he disappeared. I just wanted to come and pay my respect." When he mentioned Ogu, my stomach tightened. Chinedu's face changed too. "Your uncle was a good man," Chinedu said carefully. The man nodded. "Yes, but he left behind many unfinished matters. I have been trying to trace some of his properties. Some were in your father's name, I think." The room went silent. Adawara started twisting her wrapper. Chinedu tried to smile. "I don't know about that, sir. Papa handled many things. We're still going through his documents." The man smiled, but his eyes didn't. If you find anything that has my uncle's name, please let me know." He stood up and dropped a card on the table. "Mr. Ogu Jr." Then he left. When the gate closed, Adeora shouted, "You see, that's what Papa was warning us about. They are already coming for it." Chinedu didn't answer. He picked up the card and turned it over. On the back, something was written in small letters. "We know what he took." That night, nobody ate dinner. I couldn't even close my eyes. Around midnight, when I finally started to drift to sleep, the sound came again. Ring, 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 ring. Papa's phone. Adawara jumped up and screamed, "Don't pick it! Don't pick it!" But I couldn't stop myself. I reached for the phone. The voice came again, weaker than before, almost fading into air. Open quote. "They know, Obina. Be careful." Close quote. Then the call ended. The phone fell from my hand. Outside, a car engine started near the gate, but when Chinedu rushed out to check, the street was empty. Only the smell of exhaust hung in the night. The next morning, we all looked tired. None of us had really slept. Adora kept muttering prayers under her breath while she packed her things, saying she wanted to return to Enugu immediately. But Chinedu stopped her. "If Papa is trying to tell us something, running away won't solve it," he said quietly. I could see fear in Chinedu's eyes, even though he was pretending to be strong. He opened his laptop again and plugged in the flash drive. This time, we sat together in Papa's study. The morning sun came through the window, touching the dust in the air. It felt like Papa himself was watching us. Inside the flash drive, there was a folder called Recordings. Chinedu clicked it. There was only one audio file. He played it, and for some seconds, all we heard was noise. Then Papa's voice filled the room. Open quote. "Ogu, you can't cover this thing forever. You took the company money. If I don't expose you, it will destroy us both." Close quote. Then another voice, angry and shaky, replied, open quote, "I'll pay you back with that land in Abuja. Just don't tell anyone, you have my word." Close quote. The recording ended there. The room went silent. Adeora's hands were shaking. "So Papa didn't steal the land," I said softly. "Ogu gave it to him." Chinedu nodded slowly. "Yes, this is what Papa was protecting. Maybe he knew Ogu's people would come for revenge if they ever found out." We were still talking when we heard the sound of a car stopping outside. I went to peep through the window. It was that same Toyota Corolla that had been parking near the junction every night. But this time, it was parked right in front of our gate. Before we could react, someone started banging the door. "Open up! I just want to talk!" a voice shouted. It was the same man who had visited the day before, Mr. Ogu Jr. Adora screamed and ran to the bedroom. Chinedu locked the study door quietly and whispered, "Obinna, call the police." But before I could dial, we heard the sound of glass breaking. He had entered through the back. "Where are the papers?" His voice echoed through the house. "He stole from my father." We stayed quiet, hiding in the study. I could hear his footsteps moving closer. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. Suddenly, the old Nokia phone on the table lit up again and started ringing loudly. The sound startled everyone. Even Ogu Jr. froze. Chinedu picked up the phone slowly, staring at it like he was seeing a ghost. The name showing on the screen made all of us tremble. Chief Ogu calling. Before anyone could move, the front door burst open and police officers rushed in. I didn't even know Chinedu's message had gone through. They grabbed Ogu Jr. as he tried to run. The whole house was in confusion. When everything settled, the phone was silent again. Chinedu held it tightly in his palm. We looked at each other, all breathing heavily. "How did the police come so fast?" I asked. Chinedu looked down at the dead phone and whispered, "Maybe Papa helped." By evening, the whole compound was quiet again. The police had taken Ogu Jr. away, along with his car. One of the officers told us the man had been following us for days, hoping to find proof that Papa had stolen his father's land. But after Chinedu showed them the flash drive and the recording, they understood everything. Papa wasn't guilty. He had been protecting the truth all along. When they left, Adora sat on the floor and cried. "All these years, people said Papa cheated his friend," she said, "and he kept quiet, carrying the shame just to protect us." Chinedu nodded slowly. "He wanted us to find it ourselves. That's why he hid the box." The air in the room felt lighter, but I still couldn't stop looking at the phone on the table. It had gone completely off again. I kept remembering how the call came right when the man broke in, like someone was guiding the police to us. Later that night, after dinner, we sat in the sitting room. Nobody was talking. The lantern light flickered, making the shadows on the wall look like they were moving. I kept staring at Papa's chair in the corner. It was empty, but it didn't feel empty. Then it happened again. Ring, 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 ring. We all jumped. Adaora covered her face, whispering, "Jesus, not again." But Chinedu didn't move. He just stared at the phone as it rang. Then he said quietly, "Obinna, answer it." My heart was beating fast, but I picked it. "Hello?" This time, the voice was not weak. It was calm, steady, and warm, the same voice that used to wake me up for school every morning. Open quote. "My son," Papa said softly. "Thank you. You have done well. I can rest now." Close quote. Tears filled my eyes. "Papa, we found everything. We cleared your name." Open quote. "I know," he said. "Take care of your sister and brother, and don't be afraid. The truth always protects itself." Close quote. Then the line went silent. No breathing, no noise. Just peace. The phone screen slowly faded to black and never came on again, no matter how many times we tried to charge it. Adaora started crying again, but this time it wasn't fear. It was like a heavy load had been lifted from all of us. Chinedu took the phone, wiped it clean, and placed it on Papa's table beside his Bible. The next morning, sunlight filled the house brighter than before. The compound that used to feel cold now felt warm. The birds were singing on the mango tree, and even Ibuka ran around freely again. Before we left for Enugu, I went into Papa's study one last time. I looked at the spot where we found the box and whispered, "Rest well, Papa." For the first time since the burial, the house was truly quiet. Not the kind of quiet that scares you, but the kind that feels like peace. And as we locked the door and walked away, I could almost hear Papa's voice in the wind saying, "Thank you, my children."